Alright everyone, Jenn from McCreath here, November 10th, 2015. Week 2 of the college football playoff rankings have come out, and I think this committee is not doing a very good job. Come on now. Especially considering how they ranked teams last week. They've had some major adjustments to certain teams with just one change, one game. Iowa moves up a crap load of spots because they beat a mediocre Indiana. I'm sorry. Anyways, let me tell you how I think it should be and why. I have undefeateds near the top. My top 4 are undefeated teams in Power 5 conferences. Because you play to win the game, right? Just ask Herman Edwards. Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, and Baylor, all undefeated. All have some major victories against some tough opponents. All have several blowout wins. Iowa, I got you at number 7 because you haven't really beaten anyone good. Houston, I got you up at 8. You're not getting much respect from this committee that's booked you 24th. I got you at 8. I consider you on par with Iowa. You're undefeated, but you haven't really beaten anyone big yet. I do have more respect for the AAC than the committee. I consider the AAC, I don't call it the Power 5, I call it the Power 6, really. They were a power conference 2 years ago when they were known as the Big East, and I see no reason to have stripped them of that power. Anyways, a lot of one-loss teams out there, really good. I only rank Bama and Notre Dame. I got them at 5 and 6. Notre Dame, their only loss was to number 1 Clemson. And meanwhile, most of their 8 wins have come against significantly tough competition and or have been high-level blowout victories. Same with Bama. That loss against 3-loss Ole Miss kind of sucks. That's why I don't have Bama in my top 4. You can't lose to an Ole Miss and be ranked top 4, even if you have played a very tough schedule and beaten a lot of other good teams. Bama, if you do win out, you got, who do you got left? Mississippi State, Charleston, Cream Puff, Auburn, then a SEC championship game. If you win those 4, guess what? I'll put you in, even if there's more undefeateds. Because Oak State and Baylor are going to play each other, so one of them's going to lose a game. We have potential for Clemson, Oak State or Baylor, and Ohio State or Iowa to go undefeated. So those 3 teams, you win those 3 conferences, you go undefeated, you get 1, 2, and 3. Therefore, by default, if Bama wins out, it'll give them 4. If any of these teams should slip up and lose a game, if your Big 12 champion has 1 loss, your Big 10 champion has 1 loss, your ACC champion has 1 loss, then I catapult Bama 1 loss, a 1-loss SEC champ, whether it's Bama, Florida, or LSU, ahead of all of them, and I will catapult Notre Dame ahead of that. And I will put Stanford, if they win the Pac, ahead of all those. A 1-loss, to me, a 1-loss Stanford would be stronger than a 1-loss Clemson, 1-loss Ohio State, 1-loss Iowa, 1-loss Baylor, 1-loss Oak State. Houston, it's going to be tough to get you in, even if you win out. You just haven't scheduled any tough opponents. I respect you, I respect your conference, but there's no good out-of-conference wins. You're playing Cream Puffs. Louisville, Vanderbilt. I could beat those teams by myself, and I'm not even a football player. Tell you what, if there's only 3 teams that have 1 loss or less, then you're in. Undefeated Houston, I'll rank you ahead of any 2-loss team no matter what. So I still got you in the equation. I got you in at 8 right now in my rankings. which is a lot higher than the committee has you right now at 24, which is kind of sad because they've got other teams in your conference ahead of you. Just to be fair, I'll give you my top 25. 1 Clemson, 2 Ohio State, 3 Oak State, 4 Baylor, 5 Bama, 6 Notre Dame, 7 Iowa, 8 Houston, 9 Stanford, 10 LSU, 11 TCU, 12 Utah, 13 Oklahoma, 14 NC, 15 Florida, 16 Navy, 17 Memphis, 18 Temple, 19 Wisconsin. There's your first 2-loss team down at 19. Notice I put all the 1-loss AAC teams ahead of all 2-loss teams. 20 Florida State, 21 Mississippi State, 22 Northwestern, 23 Michigan, 24 UCLA, 25 BYU. No 3-loss teams make my top 25. I do have a 1-loss Toledo outside of my top 25. Sorry, Mac. You just got to book some tougher opponents. Overall, you're a weak conference, and Toledo did have a rather nasty loss there last week. So, 2-loss, Marshall, Western Kentucky, Appalachian State. You're all in, which conference is that now? Is it the Conference USA? I think they're all there. Appalachian might be in the Sun Belt. I can't even remember. Anyway, not good enough. Keep winning games though. Keep working hard. 26, I got Ole Miss. There's your first 3-loss team, and just saying basically. So Alabama, you have a loss against a team outside of my 25 and outside of the committee's 25. Because of that, I don't put you in my top 4. So what do I gotta say? I think the committee needs to respect Oklahoma State a little more. They had TCU way up there, and Oak State came in and beat the hell out of them, and they're undefeated. Yet they only got them at 8. Iowa was way low there. They beat Indiana, and all of a sudden they move way up to 5. I don't buy that either. Notre Dame, I don't think. Basically, as you've got it set, if you've got 2 1-loss teams out of your top 4, which is essentially saying if Bama and Notre Dame win out, they'll get in. Even if that means there are potentially 4 undefeateds. We could have Clemson, Ohio State, Baylor, or Oklahoma State, or Iowa, and even Houston competing. Yeah, I'd put a 1-loss Notre Dame, I'd put them ahead of an undefeated Houston, but I would not put them ahead of an undefeated Big 12. So, I don't know, there's still lots of football to be played. But, quite frankly, 2 weeks into this, I'm quite concerned that the committee is not getting it right. They're obviously not watching all the games. They're not respecting certain teams. I do watch a lot of games. I probably watch 30 to 35 games a week. Yes, I really do. And that includes teams from all conferences. I've watched every team play multiple games. Everyone in my top 25, I've probably seen 80% of their games or more. So I'd like to think that I'm credible at this. I've been a football fan for 20, God, how many years? 21, 22 years. So I'd like to think I pay attention. And yeah, anyways, those are my thoughts on the ranking.